what's happening inside. There's something more to me.
Once you start journaling, how do you go deeper?
Journaling is spontaneous expression of the heart. So that's how it should be. That's how a conversation is. If you love someone, you don't have a conversation, okay, I'm going to talk to you 3 things. 1, 2, 3. It doesn't happen like that. You're just spontaneous, right?
Yeah.
What's more important is to connect to yourself. I'm a householder by nature, but a renunciant by choice. Second, I am not pure, but I'm sincere. Third, I make mistakes, but I am not a mistake.
Wow, that's so amazing.
I realized at some point of time that my spiritual practices are not going deeper. I'm like at a very superficial level. So there was something missing in my life. So then I began to answer some uncomfortable questions.
Social media is rampant and it's gonna stay and it's gonna grow. I know sometimes I'll have an intention of journaling and reflecting on gratitude, but then, I want to quickly go on WhatsApp and then it's Instagram and TikTok and then it's 2 hours later and then I just think I'm just going to go to sleep.
To be honest, there's no answer to this.
Hi everyone, Haribol, and welcome to the Bhakti Life, brought to you by the School of Bhakti. It's a great privilege to start these conversations where you can dive into how to live a healthier, more healed and happier life. We'll be going through different aspects of Bhakti, bringing to you philosophy, theology, but also life experiences in the modern world here in the West. Our speaker today is Vraja Bihari Prabhu, a monk and a international speaker who comes from Mumbai, having been there for over 25 years, traveling the world, bringing emotional well-being and spirituality to mass audiences. Before joining the monastery, he lived in Mumbai and there he worked for KPMG and he also worked at the ICICI Bank. He's an MBA and has many accolades. He's the author of 5 amazing books like Mind Your Mind and Cricket in the Monastery, an amazing novel where we can learn so much about our mindsets. Today we'll be speaking about finding your self-awareness through journaling. Let me welcome our speaker, Vraja Bihari. Thank you so much for coming today. It's a great honor to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
So I wanted to start with an amazing story that I'd read when I actually started journaling back in, I think it was about 2016. My son was 1 year old. It was a massive change in our lifestyle and I felt like I needed to get a grip of my mind. And in the foreword of this book, there's this amazing story. It's a short story, but with a very big message. So in the ancient times, there was a Persian farmer and he had a simple farm, but he kind of wanted to live as everybody, they want to live a more elaborate life. The grass is always greener on the other side. So then he found out about this stone called a diamond. He understood that it's special, but he went to the local priest to find out more, who was educated. The priest had said that the diamond is of great value. So he got inspired and in search, or shall we say the pursuit of happiness, he sold his farm and he traveled the world in search. Unfortunately, it was a journey unsuccessful. And after all of his endeavors, it became too much and he actually took his own life. Sometime later, it was found out that the farmer who had bought his farm was on a camel and was riding through a stream and the camel hit a rock. Not knowing what it was in the stream, he dug it out and it was a rock. They took it to the priest and the priest cleaned it and found out it was one of the rarest, most valuable diamonds known to man. Later, it found that stream was the source of so many rare diamonds, and that's actually become a famous diamond mine. Wow. And so the lesson there is sometimes we're trying to find all these jewels, but actually,
so close to us.
Exactly, just finding something's just under your nose. So can you tell us how your journey of self-awareness started? How is it connected to journaling?
Thank you, Krishna Kirtan, for inviting me. Journaling and self-awareness is connected. And I'm not a philosopher kind of person. I'm more like very practical. I needed to connect to myself, and also I realized at some point of time that my spiritual practices are not going deeper. I'm like at a very superficial level. there was something missing in my life. So then I began to answer some uncomfortable questions, like who am I? Why have I joined the monastery?
Yeah.
So when I started asking these kind of questions in my journaling, it was a little uncomfortable initially, but then I began to see my motives. I began to see who I am. So that's how journaling helped me. And self-awareness also, because I began to see through journaling that I am separate from my mind. See, generally our identity is so merged with the mind that we take our thoughts too seriously.
Yeah.
But journaling helped me see that I'm separate from my mind, I'm separate from my thoughts. And that actually hooked me into journaling. Like, I realized the power of writing a journal, daily journal, because that was like an epiphany for me when I realized my mind is on my left and my higher self is on my right.
Wow.
And it's like, wow, it's like at the end of my journal exercise, I would look at my left and say, wow, here you are, Mr. Mind. I think you feel very empowered when you realize that you are not your mind.
Yes.
So that's how journaling has helped me.
This trinity of you, the individual, the mind, and the higher self or God is a very interesting metaphor that you create.
Yes.
Or as a visual. Can you describe to us and our audience, what is the mind? Because we all struggle. We all say that, I'm having a bad day, but is it really the day is bad, or is it the way we're reflecting on the day? So what is the mind? How does that work to understand what we're dealing with here?
Yeah. Okay. So externally we have this body.
Yeah.
We carry on with our activities, but there's something happening inside the world of thoughts, feelings, identities, our impressions. So the conglomerate of all of this, for simplifying purposes, we refer to it as mind. So when I say mind, I'm referring to something which is a composite of intelligence, ego, the feelings, thoughts, all of that. So, and that drives most of our behavior.
Yeah.
In fact, that drives our behavior. It completely drives our behavior. So what happens through journaling is we learn to separate ourselves from all of this. See, I am not what's happening inside. There's something more to me. See, right now, okay, let's take it like this. Sensual experiences are easy to tap, easy to know.
Yeah.
Like you eat a pizza, you eat an ice cream, you can feel it, you can record it, you can talk about it. But there's something subtler, which is mind, emotions, all of that. But there is something even subtler than that. And that is the I, that is the self, which is different from the body, which is also different from the mind and emotions. So journaling is a spiritual tool. It helps us access, or it helps us discover the I.
I've heard of the mind as being described as the inner browser. If we look at our computer, you go onto Safari or Chrome or something, and that's your browser. So that if you think about it, you have like the history tab, which is what you're referring to, impressions. You'll have the cache, the CACHE thing, which is like unwanted things which have kind of been deposited that you're not really aware that are there. And often we say we're on the laptop, but we're actually on the browser, but we're not really aware of it. And it's really nice to hear that journaling is the way to become aware that we have this mind. Once you start journaling, how do you go deeper? Because some people maybe you can tell us a bit about the different types of journaling and the depths and pros and cons of it.
Yeah. I'll come back to the first question you asked, like, how exactly do we discover ourselves through journaling?
Yeah.
So there is something called as, in our Bhakti movement, we have a culture of prayer. We offer our heart to the Lord. So this is an amazing journaling exercise. You could try this for 10 minutes. Start with the prayer. Like in our tradition, we say, Krishna.
Yeah.
Krishna or God, I love you. I want to serve you. I belong to you. You start with something like that. At some point of time, maybe after a few seconds, you realize that, this is very artificial, superficial. It's not coming from the depths of my heart. It doesn't carry my voice. So then what I do at that point of time, I stop. I pause. I end that paragraph. I start a second paragraph. And then I simply write what my mind is saying. Like, for example, now my mind says, get up and go to the washroom. But I don't go to the washroom. I just write down what the mind is saying.
Okay.
The mind says, check your WhatsApp messages. It's basically like turning to your left and telling Mr. Mind, I've given a name to my mind. I call my mind as Chanchal, which is a very sweet sounding feminine name. So we are monks, we don't have a companion. So I have a companion called Chanchal. So I say, yes, Chanchal, what are you saying? So whatever Chanchal is saying, I put it on paper without judging, just like this video camera is observing me without judgment.
Yeah.
Similarly, I observe my mind without judging. Just put it on paper, whatever the mind is saying.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point of time, just like a tantrum throwing spouse, you've just been... At some point of time, he or she has to... She's done with all the rant. So at some point of time, you'll see the mind is just quiet. And that's when I end the second paragraph. Remember, the first paragraph was a prayer.
A prayer.
And just because it wasn't natural, so I went to the second paragraph, which was all about observing without judging.
Yeah.
And when the mind is quiet, that's my chance. I pause, I end the second paragraph, and I start the third paragraph. And the third paragraph is simply a repetition of the first. As it is, I write down what I wrote first. Krishna, I love you. I want to serve you. God, I belong to you. But there's a big difference. Because the mind is quiet now. Now, this same words, the same sentence, externally it may appear to be same, but it carries your voice.
Yeah.
It's as if you're turning to your right and you're connecting to God. Of course, again the mind will talk. And again you pause, again go back to the mind. Yes.
I was going to say that, like, between 1 and 2, you're quieting the mind.
Yes.
But then as soon as you go to 3, Chanchal will wake up again.
And then again you go back to Chanchal. So it's a 10-minute exercise. Don't do it the whole day.
Okay.
At the end of 10 minutes, even if you haven't come close to God, you at least realize that, wow, I have a mind who is always talking.
Wow.
I don't have to take her seriously. Just don't judge her. Just observe and then move on.
Okay, and then maybe you can go on to the second part, which was the different types, because you've spoken about free writing, which is just literally as something is thought, it becomes words. Are there other different types?
There are different types of journaling. What I shared with you just now is a combination of awareness journal and prayer journal. So I began with the prayer journal, then I switched over to awareness journal, just writing down what the mind is saying, then again came back to prayer. So this is a combination of prayer and awareness journal. There are other types of journaling. Like one you could try is called free writing. Free writing is you pick up your paper and pen and just write without stopping your pen. Even if you go blank, let's say you put an alarm for 10 minutes and you go blank. You just write, I'm going blank. I don't know what I'm doing. But just don't let the pen stop.
Okay.
So what happens when you do that is you start penetrating different layers, there's a lot of clutter here. You start removing them because you're putting all that stuff which is here on paper. So that helps in release. So that's called free writing. So we discussed awareness journal, prayer journal, free writing, and there's something called as gratitude journal, where I write down what I'm grateful for in the last 24 hours. See, even gratitude can be a mechanical exercise, cliched, because you can't thank the same people for the same things every day.
time.
It can get boring. So what I've discovered is the joy of fresh gratitude. Something that has happened in the last 24 hours for which I'm very grateful. Something very specific, something fresh, and then answer at least one sentence on why you are grateful for that.
This concept of gratitude, scientifically, is proven. Hormonally, chemically, it induces so much happiness and joy, helps us to reach a deeper belonging. I heard from a friend something called digested gratitude, meaning, because I was reflecting with him that I feel like I've been loved by so many people, but then I still feel unloved. So, and he was mentioning that digesting love, like you can eat lots of food, but then there's indigestion and there's good digestion. Even if you eat nutritious things, if you eat it wrong at the wrong time, or based on your Ayurvedic constitution, it can still not be digested. How do we digest gratitude?
Okay, that's what I said. There are 3 things to gratitude.
Specific.
Something specific, preferably something fresh. Because what happens is it keeps you alert, because throughout the day you're looking for things to be grateful for. If you are focusing on fresh gratitude, something specific. It's easy to say I'm thankful for everything. If you're thankful for everything, you're thankful for nothing. Be specific, let it be fresh, and the most important thing which actually helps us digest gratitude is just answer at least one sentence why you are grateful for it. Like for example, let's say I had a good breakfast, an exotic breakfast. Now I'm just happy about it. Just write it down. I'm grateful for this. Why? Because I'm a foodie. I like good food. Some reason. Just write one sentence. What happens is you are entering the world of emotions. You are investing some energy into that gratitude. That's why it starts getting digested. And also when you have a practice of daily thanking for a few things, you digest gratitude, because you'll reach a stage where you'll be amazed. I've gone through that occasional experiences where I have inadvertently thanked God for some unpleasant experiences also. It's not that I consciously chose it, because I was in a good space.
Yeah.
And somehow I realized that something unpleasant has its positive side to it. I remember saying, thank you, Krishna, for this. And I had a tear in my eye. I was wondering what is happening. How could I thank? Because one relationship turned very sour and there's a lot of bitterness. And a friend turned foe. I actually wrote a prayer for him. It's like, Krishna, please take care of him. And I was like, what? In a normal day-to-day scenario, I would be very, very defensive.
Yeah.
Like I would be like, as soon as I thought of him, my flight and fight response would be activated. But because I was doing this journaling every day, I was in that space. Love flowed through my heart, forgiveness flowed through my heart. So I think entering that space of gratitude every day helps us cultivate these nobler virtues.
Wow, that's this. You said specific,
fresh.
Why? And then why? If somebody in our audience is new to journaling, so I journaled back in 2008 for a year. I did it in 2016. I did it over COVID time. I have my journal with me, which is a gratitude journal. That's the type I like. If somebody's new to it or feels, come on, like this is for a different type of person, where's a good place to start? Like there'll be excuses. Even for seasoned journal, it'll be, I'm a bit too busy today. But I'm talking about somebody who hasn't got that positive experience of it. Where do they start?
To be very honest, I personally feel journaling is not as important as finding something in your life which helps you to connect. Okay, so for example, I know some people who love to just go on a walk. That helps them connect to themselves. Some people, they spend time in praying. I myself spend a lot of time in breathing. I call it the BJP method. Breathing, journaling and praying. BJP. It's a politically not a very good word. Not a correct thing to say. But then this is my go-to. So it's not that I journal all the time. Breathing helps me to connect myself. Prayers helps me. So I pick up my bead bag. I chant prayers. So see where you can connect. So if journaling becomes like a drudgery, it's like, I have to do it. Then the whole purpose gets defeated, because ideally journaling is spontaneous. It's like you're writing a love letter to someone you love. It has to be spontaneous. But because we are not so spontaneous, we are making a system. Okay, try gratitude journal. Answer these 3 questions. Specific, fresh. Why? But that's not how. For example, if you love someone, you don't have a conversation. Okay, I'm going to talk to you 3 things. 1, 2, 3. It doesn't happen like that. You are just spontaneous, right?
Yeah.
Similarly, journaling is spontaneous expression of the heart. But because it's foreign to us, like I'm sharing these techniques, I'm saying, actually my journaling nowadays is like a combination of all of these types of journaling.
Yeah.
It is free, it is gratitude, there is appreciation, there is prayer journal, there is scriptural journal, there is awareness journal. Everything it's a khichdi, it's a hodgepodge, it's a mix of everything, because that's how it should be. That's how a conversation is. But because we are not comfortable with it, so I've given this some techniques. But you go through those techniques. If something helps you, do it. Otherwise, look for something else that helps you connect to yourself. What's more important is you connect to yourself.
So this element of connection to yourself or self-awareness, at what point does somebody know that it's working, and what is the end goal? So like, at what point does someone say, actually, I should carry on, this is good? And then what is the goal of self-awareness? Like, what's its spiritual end goal?
Okay. The two things here. What is the end goal of awareness? Where does it actually lead to? And secondly, how do I know that this is for me? Right? So, okay, through journaling, breathing, if we can come to a stage where we are comfortable in our own skin, we are peaceful, we know, see, there are some things which are ineffable. Like, for example, I can describe my experience of eating a pizza, right? And with some practice, I can also describe my thoughts, my feelings, and my emotions. But the spiritual experiences, if you could explain it, all of it in words, that means you're still in the space of mind, intelligence, and emotions. It has to be, by definition, ineffable.
Yes.
So you know it beyond a sense of knowing, the way we know it. It's not the intellectual knowing. You know it that this is it. This is for me. Journaling is for me. Breathing, I know it. I remember when I was practicing breathing techniques and in the ashram, some of my friends were like little skeptical. They said, "What are you doing? You're supposed to be chanting, praying." But I knew what I was doing was right because I knew it, I couldn't explain it to them. So that's one way of understanding. And regarding where does it lead to? Self-awareness is like, it's the first step. Like you are aware of what's happening, but it's not the same as self-realization.
No, yeah.
Self-realization is a step ahead where you are able to place your life in the hands of the universe, of God. Basically, you are obeying a calling beyond your own body, mind. You're trusting a force much beyond yourself. When we do that, when we place, like for example, in my metaphor that I used, when I turn to my right and I say, Krishna, I'm yours.
Yeah.
And when I do that, that's the space of self-realization. Self-awareness is a prerequisite. It's like, you put everything on the pizza, the olives, jalapenos, everything, you made it excellent with the tomato sauce, everything.
They're my favorite ingredients, by the way. Olives and jalapenos are my favorite ingredients. But anyway, yes, good example, yeah.
But you have to finally bake it.
Yeah.
You can't just say it's all ready. Self-awareness is like putting everything is in place, but ultimately you need to surrender. You need to place your life in the hands of the divine. And that's when self-realization starts. That's the world of self-realization where we trust a force beyond ourselves.
Wow, amazingly put. Thank you so much for that step from self-awareness to self-realization with the perfect pizza analogy. Can you tell us a little bit about a challenge that you've had in life? Some say the dark night of the soul, or and then how it led you to become more self-aware, or how self-awareness and self-realization helped you get through that?
Yes. I'm glad you asked this because this is a subject which very, very rarely we discuss, but this is a reality.
Yep.
A lot of spiritualists go through the dark night of the soul, or they feel unloved by God. And that's why journaling is a great tool, because journaling helps you to seek the companionship of the Lord. See, there was a time when I would approach God in the mood that I want an end to my suffering. Please help me. I want happiness. We are happiness addicts, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I want to be happy. I come to God because I want to be happy. So when I go through humiliation, injustice, sadness, I'm like, God help me. God give me, end this suffering. And if God doesn't end my suffering, then my faith goes down.
Yes.
And I think I'm not loved. But what journaling has done is that it helped me see that when I'm suffering, it's okay. I don't seek an end to suffering. I just seek to be with the Lord. Krishna, just be with me now. I don't ask you to end my suffering because I know you won't. My suffering will go when it has to go. But I think suffering is not such a big problem as being lonely and isolated.
It's 100%.
So if you feel the Lord is with you, that's better than, just getting rid of suffering but not being connected to the Lord. Because suffering will go, then tomorrow again it will come. It's a never-ending cycle. So basically journaling would help us experience the joy of chastity vis-a-vis the thrill of romance. See, for us, many of us, God is someone who gives us happiness. He gives us a kick. He gives us something good. I want to feel good.
Yeah.
Even spiritual life for most of us is bhakti is also emotional bhakti. It's all about feeling good. Oh, it was a great kirtan. Oh, there was a nice sangha. It was beautiful experience. That's emotional bhakti.
Yeah.
Existential bhakti is whether I'm happy or sad, but I'm with God.
Wow.
And that space we need to enter. And that's when the dark night of the soul ends. That's like moving from the thrill of romance to the joy of chastity. That's like moving from the Diwali fireworks to that quiet flame that keeps burning. You've seen in those traditional temples.
Yes.
So our heart, we need to light that flame and keep it burning day after day after day. That's our relationship with God.
I found with journaling, what was interesting was if there was a difficult situation at home in the marriage, or while we were bringing the children up, or I felt like a relationship was strained, I could look back, I could turn back the pages or scroll up on the document and look back and say, actually, a year ago, everything was fine. So it helps to balance, because, one of the issues with the mind is it's like an avalanche, it just the momentum keeps going. You just think everything is bad, whereas it was just a moment. So it's good to look back and see, like we have our Keshav Swami here in London, a famous monk, and he's been journaling for 20 years. And sometimes he shares with us what he wrote 5 years, 10 years ago. And when you do that, you can actually think, wow, I have made progress actually. Yes. And the times when you're feeling wobbly, have you had an experience where you've looked back at your journal and thought, wow, I have come forward?
Yeah. There's a technique of journaling called question answer journal. I'll share that with you. It's an amazing experience. One day I sat alone in a park for 3-4 hours, and I asked some questions. What are the questions that I really want answers for? So I wrote down 30 questions. Like, what is my relationship with my parents? Second, what does the spiritual life actually mean to me? Third, who am I? Things like that, So what does forgiveness mean to me? All those 30 questions. And then, day 1, I pick up the first question. I start free writing. Remember I spoke about free writing?
Yeah.
So I put my alarm for 10 minutes. I answer that question without stopping the pen. So when 10 minutes are over, that's done for the day. Tomorrow I answer question 2.
Oh, wow.
Free writing. So at the end of 1 month, what has happened? You've answered 30 questions. Mm-hmm. And now the second cycle begins on the 31st day. You again go back to the first question and just answer again the same. Nothing has changed. Just answer the question. And at the end of it, after 10 minutes, read that answer and then compare with the answer you wrote 1 month ago.
Yeah.
And see, not always you will have, many times it will be the same, more or less the same answer, but sometimes you make amazing discoveries that you can see you have transformed. You can see how journaling has transformed you. You can see how time has changed you.
Wow,
and
that's
like,
amazing.
This is what I wrote 1 month ago and this is what I've written now.
And it's interesting you're going back to the same question. I think I will try that. I think that's a fantastic technique.
This has been one of the biggest discoveries in my life. I call it question answer journaling. So you can try this.
One of your questions to yourself was, what is my relationship with my parents? Now, I remember an interesting exchange you told me of where you were having a difficult situation in your monastery. A challenge was there, but you found great strength knowing that your father, who is now belated, as in not for this podcast, but he is now kind of passed on, you got a lot of strength from your relationship that you knew he loved you. Maybe you can share with the audience that that story that you shared with me, because I think it's very beautiful. Yeah. I think it's also very refreshing to see a monk, somebody who's so supposedly renounced and cut off from the world, having such genuine loving relationships. I think that is very inspiring.
Yeah, I've come to realize that emotions are extremely important. So we say we are human beings are rational animals, but we are actually emotional animals. Rationality is just a tip of the iceberg, most of it is all emotions. And even that rationality, I think we use it to justify our emotions eventually. So we have emotions. So why not purify those emotions by cultivating gratitude? And especially if you've got something good, like for example, my parents, my father especially, gave me the four things that are extremely important for parenting, like unconditional love, good education, and third, happy experiences. You would take me for an ice cream every Sunday. You would play tennis with me. He was my tennis doubles partner.
Oh, amazing.
So this happy experiences, good education. He would give us books to read all the time, and unconditional love. He always made me feel that he loves me more than other things in life. So I think and acknowledging it and being grateful for it gives us strength to say no to the temptations and distractions that come on our path.
Yeah.
Although we have God, we have our spiritual practices, but nobody loves you like your parents do, at the bodily level.
Yeah.
So that love is very powerful actually. It helps you to tap the world of positive emotions. I've seen when I'm chanting, if I'm not feeling connected to God, if I just remember the unconditional love that I've received from my father or from some well-wisher, we all have received some love, some selfless love.
Yeah, yes.
Just connect to that selfless blessing that you've received from someone at some point of time. You see you're filled with gratitude, and you'll see that you feel more connected.
And then you can transfer that into your...
And you can then say, Krishna, thank you for sending this person to my life.
Yes.
And then you see that prayer it carries a lot of potency.
Wow.
So I thank God for the material experiences also, but I'm coming to God. That's more important.
Yes.
But I'm thanking God. I could have been exploited at that age. I could have been abused. There are so many people I know who come from dysfunctional families. They have challenges. God has been kind to me. So I thank Him for what I got in my life before being a monk.
You have with you an amazing letter from your father, who you travel with this letter around the world, and you maybe you can just...
So these are two letters my father wrote to me in the year 2001. So when I was already 3 years in the ashram.
Yes.
So he wrote to me asking, I'm thinking of your marriage. Are you interested in getting married? So I remember writing to him. I don't have that letter, which I wrote to him, saying that, I want to continue in this path. Please forgive me for, not making you happy and things like that. And then he wrote to me this letter saying that, I wish you all the best. You've not disappointed me, and be careful of the temptations and distractions that come on your path. You're going on your destined, chosen path. So, all that blessings. So then I read this letter, both these letters. I feel connected. I feel some blessings is coming from above. Yes. Because we all need blessings, okay? Let us accept.
Yeah.
And we need blessings from everyone.
Yes. And sometimes in the name of spiritual life or dedicating ourselves to missionary work, we often sideline those that were in our life before we uptake. Yeah. And that's a painful thing for them. And we may not be so aware of what we're losing in losing those kind of, shall we say, material relationships. So it's so inspiring to see that you've kept this relationship alive and you gain a lot of strength from it. And even my son, he heard this story about the ice cream after cricket matches that your father would take you to. He heard that maybe when he was 2 or 3 years old. And just today, before coming to the podcast, he was remembering that 7 years ago. So it's very powerful. And I know my parents and a lot of other parents of my friends will be very inspired of the lesson that you're teaching there. You have a very interesting desk in Mumbai. That somebody told me about, that you have your desk, you have your laptop and stuff and your books and you're working, but ahead of you on the wall, you have a very interesting message. Could you share with us that and what that means and how maybe people can take inspiration from that and build their own board? Okay. Now I'll have to give you a context, a background to that. Yes. Because of journaling every day, what happens is journaling helps you to connect your own authentic self. It helps you to remove the mask. Often we in our social dealings, we put on an armor. Yeah. And when you put on an armor, it makes you feel strong, but it also leaves you exhausted. Oh, yeah. And the mask during COVID, I remember we went around with the mask. Mask would make us feel safe, but it chokes you. Yeah. So I've seen that my social interactions would leave me exhausted, and I felt somewhere I was, maybe the cloth, there's a certain etiquette, certain mandate given to us for representing this cloth. So I guess somewhere it was all choking me. Yeah. But journaling was like,
I was connecting to my raw, real self,
Yes.
the unguarded self. So then, in that moment of inspiration, 3 lines came out of my pen, and those lines were like, wow, this is as if God revealed them to me. And ever since, whenever I am low, I read these 3 lines and I'm like, I get charged up.
Nice.
And the first line is, I'm a householder by nature, but a renunciant by choice.
Yes.
Second, I am not pure, but I am sincere.
Oh, wow.
Third, I make mistakes, but I am not a mistake.
Wow, that's so amazing.
I put this in front of me. So I see this and I'm like, okay, because, we can get harsh on ourselves because there's a lot of very high expectations, not just the society, but even we have very high expectations from ourselves. And then it's easy to get depressed and feel inadequate. But when I see this, I feel a sense of self-love, but in a space of gratitude. I feel happy who I am for what God has made me. And it helps me move on in my order with integrity.
And we can't nowadays have a podcast conversation without touching on social media. Here you're talking about self-awareness, the mind, having a connection, being authentic. Social media is rampant and it's going to stay and it's going to grow. With the endless amount of notifications, comparisons that we will inevitably make, how can we try and be self-aware in an age where we are finding it difficult to control our engagement on social media that impacts us? You see, like I know sometimes I'll have an intention of journaling and reflecting on gratitude, but then, I want to quickly go on WhatsApp, and then it's Instagram and TikTok, and then it's 2 hours later, and then I just think I'm just going to go to sleep.
Yeah. To be honest, there's no answer to this. Like how to get out of social media trap, there's no answer to this. But we need to answer a more important question. Why? Why do I want to get out of that trap? If your answer to the why is deep,
Wow.
how would manifest automatically? The mistake we do is we look for how. That's, see, we all have 2 personalities within us. Krishna Kirtan 1, Vraj Bihari 1, and then Krishna Kirtan 2, Vraj Bihari 2. So Krishna Kirtan 1 is the one outgoing who wants to conquer the world. He wants to make an impact.
Yeah.
And it's external, outgoing. It's a personality that's driven by the biodata values.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the skills you bring to the market.
Yeah.
That's what that'll help you navigate through this world.
Yeah.
But there is Krishna Kirtan 2, the humble inner self who wants an inner sense of cohesiveness, who wants to obey a calling beyond his own mind, intelligence, ego. He wants to live for a higher cause.
Yeah.
So we have to master the art of living forever with the tension of both these personalities. But we need to ask the question, why? Why do I want to overcome the trap of the social media? If that why is strong, techniques, how would be automatically answered?
Wow, what an answer. I feel like I need to go on a forest walk and think for a few hours. The why and then the how follows. An amazing thought. I mean, I'm a bit lost for words now because that's making me think about so many things and whether I'm tackling the challenges in my life with the right direction of, I'm probably thinking as a doer more of how can I get these things done rather than why should I get these things done. That's an amazing. And
see, Krishna Kirtan 1 is always focusing on how. Krishna Kirtan 2, who is character driven, would ask why. What is life all about? Why does this exist? So we have ignored Krishna Kirtan 2.
Yeah.
And you'll see, I've met my own spiritual master and many other spiritual leaders. They radiate a certain sense of spiritual joy. You'll see them, they are restrained. There is a lot of, respect in them. There's a soft discipline. And, they answer softly when they are challenged harshly.
Yeah.
They are silent when they are treated unfairly. They are dignified when they are humiliated. They are restrained when they are provoked. Yet they get things done. Because they are focusing, they're not looking for approval from the world. They are focused on the inner Krishna Kirtan, the real I, the character driven. So I think we need to somewhere start asking these questions. Why do I exist? What am I meant for? Who am I? See, the Krishna Kirtan one, if that's what who you are, who learns, who treats every day as a game, a war, a battle.
Yeah.
But Vraj Bihari 2, Krishna Kirtan 2, is a person who would honor something beyond himself. He would honor something sacred. He doesn't want worldly accolades.
Yeah.
He may do something very impressive, but he doesn't think of the impressive work that he's doing because he doesn't think of himself. There is something more. Social media obsession is, I want so many likes, so many things, because we are living in that the biodata values. I read in David Brooks' book many years ago, Road to Character. He speaks about these two, biodata values and memorial values. Memorial values are those values which get spoken about during your memorial service when you're dead and gone. That's at the core of your being, whether you are nice, kind, brave, what kind of relationships you formed. And all of us know memorial values are more important than biodata values. But we spend
all our time on our biodata values.
Strategizing all the biodata values.
Totally.
So journaling helps us at least acknowledge that I have more to my life than simply being a crafty animal, going around this world, winning battles.
So if Krishna Kirtan 2 wants to hear more from, I think Vraj Bihari 1 and 2 are the same, personally. No. But if Krishna Kirtan 2, who seems to be a very quiet voice in the background somewhere, if he wants to gain more inspiration from you, how and where can he touch base with do you have like a website or...
I have a YouTube channel, Vraj Bihari Dāsa. I have a website called yogaformodernage.com.
Okay. Well.
But I'm struggling myself. I need to associate with you. I need to hear from you. I need to learn from everyone. But yes, I also spend a lot of time hearing others, reading books, reflecting, writing. That's non-negotiable for me. I need to spend my time every day till afternoon, till 12. And then I go out to the world.
Yeah, amazing. When we picked you up for the podcast, you were saying that usually your program is until midday, you're by yourself, so that when you come out, Vraj Bihari 1 and 2 are the same. I really think that's a very inspiring model that you've created. And that's why you're so effective when you're traveling the world. You go to America, the UK, India, and around the world, helping people use emotional well-being and spiritual techniques to become the best version of themselves. So thank you so much for having this conversation. Can I hug you?
Of course.
I think amazing conversation.
Thank you.
Okay, so everyone, the audience, thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this session today at Bhakti Life. And if you have any comments or questions, just drop us a line in the comments tab. Thank you.